My name's Emily. Thank you so much for joining me here on another installment of our Facebook Live series. So we're here on the beautiful north lot, over here by the pond, right by the tree barn, if you ever want to come and see what we have planted over here. It's absolutely gorgeous. So today's topic is hot in this drought, it's dormant lawns. So we're going to go over exactly what it means for a lawn to go dormant, how to go and care for it properly, and especially the do's and do nots, especially if you want to go and carry it through the drought so it does go and come back for you. So let's go and get right on into it here. So exactly what happens when a grass goes dormant. So I have a lovely little sample ornamental grass here, and he's going to be a little burgundy bunny fountain grass. Now all grasses are really structured the same, so even your lawn is going to be structured like this. Now when dormancy happens, this is the plant's way of just throwing in the towel temporarily. The lawn just says, you know what, it's too hot, there's not enough water for me to grow. Photosynthesis just shuts down. So all of this top is going to go brown, but the crown right here at the base is going to stay alive. And now you're not going to see much green or anything like that, but that's okay. This is an intense survival mechanism. And it's been in there for millions of years, so don't worry. Now, the thing about this is that as it goes dormant, think of it like a hibernating bear. Everything shuts down. It just goes to the basic functions. It shuffles all the water and all the nutrients into the crown and into the roots. So, just like a hibernating bear, you're not going to want to poke it. You're not going to want to rake it or fertilize it or do anything that's going to go and stress out this lawn. So you're just going to go and leave it be. And that's a very general rules here. However, the crown actually does need a little bit of water here. Just about a 1/4 inch of water per week to go and really survive. Oh yeah. Now of course here at Gertens we go and make sure we give our grasses plenty of water here. But especially with all these watering restrictions coming in, and it seems like every single day more and more come in as we get farther and farther behind on our rainfall totals. Some places in Minnesota are 8 to 10 inches behind. It has not been this bad since '88. I don't know how many of you remember that, but it's bad. It's really, really bad. So for some people it actually may be more economical just to let it go for the season, and it's totally fine. When the rains come, as long as it has that 1/4 inch of water, it will go and bounce back. No problem. So that's kind of the... Oh,
we have a quick question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when someone's lawn does go dormant, what should they do? What do you do while you're waiting?
Well, I was joking earlier with some other customers that, as you're waiting, it's not growing, you're not mowing, you're not raking, you can really just go and, sip some ice cold lemonade or iced tea out on the patio, and it's really just a waiting game. There's not much that you really can do when the lawn goes dormant.
How much water would you recommend for dormant lawns?
Okay. So we have another question. He wants to know exactly how much water they'd go and recommend for dormant lawns. So about a 1/4 inch of water per week is what a dormant lawn really requires to go and get it on through the dormant period. So it really depends on your sprinkler system and what you're doing. If you really want to make sure that you're getting that 1/4 inch, get a rain gauge, get a tuna can, and actually, pretty old school, but get a ruler out. With that tuna can, stick the ruler in. Go after 15 minutes, see if you actually have a 1/4 inch. If you don't, keep watering.
What's the best time to water?
Oh, so she wants to know what the actual best time of day to water is. It's always going to be early morning. If you can swing early morning, that is the best time.
And then while you're watering it, would you recommend not mowing it?
So he wants to know, as you're watering, if you'd recommend not mowing. Mowing wet grass is always a sticky situation. It's not recommended for several reasons, just because it'll really go and clog up the blade, things like that. In general, you should always try and mow when dry, but if your lawn is dormant, it's not growing. You really can just go and put away the mower. Our last question was if there's any specific type of grass that's a little bit better about coming back after dormancy. Honestly, as long as you're getting that 1/4 inch of water, that's the most important part. Now, there is some grass that's a little bit more drought resistant and tends to not go dormant as easily, like the fescues, all those drought resistant grasses I talked about in a previous video. So all those low growing ones, those actually are still green right now. I don't know if you've driven around town, or even the pollinator ones. The clover still looks really good right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but.
Someone has another question regarding sod. Sod was placed last September, and has that really rooted enough?
So normally sod takes about 6-ish or so weeks to be fully rooted in. Obviously the longer the better, but it's almost coming up to 1 year. Plenty of time to go and come back from dormancy.
I have a lot of weeds in the lawn. Is there anything that I can do about the weeds?
Okay, so I was thinking someone would probably ask about weeds. Here's the thing. So, in certain places down south, where they don't really get snow, but the lawn will go kind of dormant, 100%, they can go and control weeds in it. But here's the thing, you have to be really, really careful. If your lawn is going like partially dormant and it's still green, it's still processing, so it still could go and process that herbicide. It could be injured. I would be really, really, really careful, frankly. The safest bet is actually to just go and pull them. Or you could wait till your lawn goes 100%, and I would personally still be very, very cautious. I would not do anything attached to a hose, spraying the whole thing. If you're going to go and do any kind of weed killer or anything like that, very targeted, very spot spray. Nothing huge, nothing heavy.
We have another question, and I believe you answered this earlier, but if I fertilize, will it help?
Oh no. Okay. We do get questions about fertilizing dormant lawns, and it's just like poking a hibernating bear or trying to give it a shot of adrenaline. You do not want to do it. That lawn has turned itself off for a reason, because of high stress levels. There are cases where you can go and fertilize a lawn that's under stress or trying to go dormant, and then you will actually stress it out so much you can go and kill your lawn. It's not worth it. You want to go and make sure you just reduce any kind of stress that your lawn is facing. Let it go dormant. Wait till we get that rain. Once the rain comes and your lawn actually starts to come back, then you can think about fertilizing, but not before.
So, my lawn is dormant, and by the looks of things, it's just going to be this way for a while. Do you have suggestions on what other grasses that I could plant that won't have as much of a problem?
Ah, okay. So as far as, this person really wants to know about what kind of grasses they can go and plant that won't have nearly as much a problem with dormancy. If this customer is really talking about like lawn grasses, it's going to be the fescues. Fescues are going to go and stay green when Kentucky bluegrass goes dormant. So we did go, I kind of touched on it earlier about like the low growing lawns and things like that, because they are the fescues. They are what the University of Minnesota is really pushing everyone's lawns to go and transition to, for many reasons. But I do cover that in a previous Facebook Live video. So you can go and watch that on our stream here. I mean, anyone who does go and already have, a pollinator lawn, a low-growing lawn is still looking really, really good right now. People who do have that Kentucky bluegrass, they're really struggling to keep up on the watering, probably struggling with the water restrictions, things like that. It kind of is what it is at this point. Do we have any other questions here before I go on?
I have one question.
Oh, yeah.
Does walking on a dormant lawn hurt the grass at all, or doing any activities on that dormancy?
It's a good question. So we have another person who wants to know about walking on a dormant lawn. So you can go and walk on a dormant lawn. I wouldn't go and play like tackle football on it, but just walking on it is going to be okay. The biggest thing is we're going to come back to the crown, the all-important crown. So you just want to go and make sure you're not doing anything too rough that would go and actually rip up the crown, like raking or like really intensive, like running, football, stuff like that on it, that would go and actually tear it up, because then that would really, really harm the lawn. But just walking on it casually, kind of using it for regular low impact purposes, totally fine. Yeah, so nothing else much there, but the biggest thing is just really, really making sure that if you decide to go and kind of let it go dormant, either through your own volition or through watering restrictions, just make sure you keep up on that 1/4 inch of water per week. That is the most critical, and then it will go, fingers crossed, come back. If people don't go and give their lawn any water, then that's where we start to go and worry about it possibly not coming back, and then you are facing the prospect of reseeding. So thank you so much here for tuning in here today. As always, my name is Emily here in the Lawn and Garden Department. If you have any other questions, you can always go and come and contact the experts here at Gertens, either online or come and stop in and see us here in person. Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys. Keep up with that water.